Hello, Tower Car friends. Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again, it is time for another Orc Mode workout, and today was Max Effort Upper Day. A few changes, we'll discuss it all in detail, and overall, reasonably happy with the workout. Everything landed right about where I expected it to. Uh, and we'll discuss what we're doing as supplemental lifts. So I went ahead and went with a floor press, and I've already got clowns in the comments with, well, your lifts haven't gone up. It's like, really? I just hit a 352 close grip within the last couple of weeks. I hit a 575 cambered bar squat. I finally broke 500 on a safety bar squat, which was like an 80-pound increase on that. Come on. So, floor press. I went with a medium grip today, and I may take it out to the rings and go with pinky width. 315 was relatively challenging. But I haven't done floor press in a while, and one of the things that I noted is that when I first hit that first 352 before the injury that I built back up to, even the wider grip floor pressing carried over really well. I feel like I've regained the muscle memory of where I was before that injury months ago. Okay, I've rebuilt everything. I've got the strength back on the close grip, especially with that buffalo bar. Right? Here's the problem I run into. My bench is so explosive out of the bottom, and a lot of people note that, because of my lats. Look at the size of my lats. They're like a big spring, and they let me explode out of the bottom. That also means like that close grip pressing and stuff I do, probably really good for my triceps. Maybe not the best in the world for building the pecs out of the bottom for me, because it lets me use my lats to start the weight. Lats, leg drive, everything else. The floor press does not let me use those lats. I have to use my chest to get it started. And I feel so much chest activation from that stop. And for me, it's pretty much a full range of motion anyways. It almost touches my chest. So one of the things that I've had to think about with my benching, people will say, why are you so much better with that buffalo bar? Like you hit 7 pounds heavier, even though it should be harder. The longer range of motion. It lets me pop my lats against my triceps even harder. So if I pop my lats against my arms as soon as I explode, it drives it up. That extra range of motion gives me 7 more pounds. Okay, it gives me 7 more pounds. And then the hand angle's involved too, but it also, because again, it forces the triceps inward against the lats even harder. Okay, makes a difference for me. Now, if I keep building my back, my bench is going to keep getting better out of the bottom, but I really need my chest and triceps to get a lot stronger. So everything's going to be dedicated to that. And I think for now, some floor pressing for a base, work on max floor pressing, try to slowly bring it up, rotate a couple variations of it, and do rep work off of it. Weighted dips, incline bench. And I know my incline bench is horrifically weak. Okay, my chest weakness really comes out on it, and the long head of my tricep and everything else. So we're going to keep working the close grip up, and we're going to get it up. And you guys noticed today, they're like, you only did a 2.5 pound jump. Yep. And if I can add 2.5 pounds every workout for my second lift on it, for any period of time, that's going to add up real quick. Okay, that's 5 pounds a week if I can pull it off. But we're going to keep working it, keep working the rep work, and use the rep work as a tester. Because if I'm several exercises deep and I get to the rep work, I can look at my AMREP sets, and I can assess where I'm at. Okay, I can assess where I'm at. So if I'm going to be able to hit that next PR or not. And we calculate everything off 1 rep max. So some people are thinking a lot of these AMREP sets are like, oh, is this an arbitrary weight and just picking a roughly a 5 rep max? No, these are exact percentages of my maxes. That way I can estimate what my rep max should be. Does that make sense? So that when we hit these lifts, we know where we are. And we also know that we're getting quality reps. So what I decided to do, because again, 2 maxes is some actual stimulation for chest. I'm going to do 2 sets of 3 different exercises. But they're going to be hard sets. Now, some people say that's not enough. It's like, well, I'm maxing on 4 chest presses a week. And then we're doing 6 chest presses really heavy twice a week. You're not even counting the maxes, that's 12 sets. 12 nearly limit sets of 3 different angles a week for chest. In what world is that not supported by research, anecdote, and everything else is a very, very high hypertrophy stimulus? If you're doing junk volume, maybe it doesn't seem to. But look at what I'm working with. Everything is like 80% of my max for these sets at least, hitting 5+ reps. There's no junk volume. Every single one of these sets is stimulating hypertrophy by itself, even if it was done by itself. But we have those two maxes to fatigue upper threshold fibers first going into it. So the floor press was 255, 80% roughly, hair over. I got 5, and then I managed to crank out 7. Okay, we're going to get a good growth effect from that, right? And trying to maintain tightness. The only reason I'm not really pausing much, I'm just letting the triceps touch and then coming up and maybe pausing on the last rep a little bit. Again, I want to keep an enormous amount of tension on the chest. I want to keep everything tight so that I cannot get loose, forcing me to get tight and to engage the chest really hard out of the bottom. Something I don't get as much with the close grip work, but if the chest gets stronger through all of that, because again, I can use the lats to pop me out of the first few inches. And then the chest can really hammer and help drive the weight up along with triceps and everything else. Dips, and some people will point out, hey, you're not locking out. That's about all I can lock out. People say, well, reduce the weight. To what? Can I hang a reverse band? My body weight looks like that also at these angles. And it is what it is. But doesn't matter. We're getting an enormous amount of chest and tricep stimulation. I usually feel that outer head of my tricep a lot on dips. I know we could argue it's not as important for benching, but it's still a big tricep exercise, but my chest gets lit. My chest gets lit big time. And we need that. And the first rep is always really shallow when I do dips, and that's one reason I don't max on it. I would need to do a 2-rep max to even assess my max, right? And I think it went 5, and then I managed to get 7. Now, I dropped down to 90 pounds because I went back just doing these the other day again for the first time in a few weeks. Tried the 110, which I've been working with before, and it was just too heavy. My 2 sets of 3 looked terrible. So we dropped 20 pounds off, put 90 pounds on, got 5 and 7. Incline, 195, which is, 80%, a pound over technically. 80% of what I just hit for that training max. I got 5, and then I believe I got 6 or 7. Let me check my notes. 6. So we got 5, and then we got 6. All right? It's right where we want to be. These I'm pausing, by the way. These I'm pausing. No touch and go. I do need some work that's paused. I can get that stretch reflex on the dips. Okay? The floor press is, again, we've got to maintain tightness. So I need to get some practice pausing in. Let's do it on the incline. Just get real strong from just paused inclines and just explode that up. Right? Got to pause them at the bottom. So I'm trying to pause every single rep on these. So again, 80%. Now keeping in mind, we're fatigued already. So this is a good indication of what's going on because I just did a couple of limit sets on the dips and the floor press. So I'm not fresh. So if I can go 5 and then I can go 7, we're good to go. So hopefully people see what I'm doing. These 5-rep sets are still enough to cause growth stimulus. And then the next set where I take it further, if possible, what are we doing? We're getting full effective reps all the way to the end, right? So we're ending up with 6 really, really high quality sets after the maxes. And again, what am I working? I'm working all 3 heads of the tricep get worked because of these angles. All of the chest gets worked, okay? People can argue all they want. Here's one of the problems we have with some minimalist stuff. What does the research show? What causes more muscle growth? Picking the best exercise and doing 6 sets or picking 2 different exercises and doing 3? Well, usually the slight exercise variation tends to cause slightly more growth if there's any difference in studies. Now, these JM presses, I wrote in the notes below for you guys to see in the description. These are trash form. Try to do them on the floor. I was just trying to see how it felt. I tried to go as heavy as I was going before. Right? This is not really a true JM press. Okay, I'm going to throw these out. They're still up here for you guys to see, but I'm saying in the video, and I said in the notes down below, trash form, not acceptable. My triceps still got worked, but not to the degree that I would like. I'm going to drop the weight down next time, and I'm going to try to keep those elbows up and turn it more into a hybrid skull crusher and close grip. This is a little bit more like close gripping to the neck, because I'm dropping it to about, my upper neck, maybe near my chin, is where I'm lowering it above. So, I mean, there's definitely tricep because the amount of elbow bend and everything. But realistically, it's not a true JM press. So we need to go back to the drawing board a little bit, redial the form in, and next to, because I didn't watch this footage, a lot of these I just did all these exercises and threw it on here. And now as I started looking through it, I'm like, okay, those are not going to fly. So I am noting here, I'm not counting those. We're going to drop the weight down. We're going to do them better, and we need to really, really, really get some extra strength in those triceps. So again, my chest is getting a great amount of stimulation, but triceps usually have a little more maximum recovery. They can handle a little more volume. Okay, we can argue that some of those exercises are not amazing tricep builders. Some are better than others. This is, if I really get in and hammer these JM presses afterwards, 3 real good sets, that's going to ensure maximum tricep hypertrophy, right? And strength, because again, I'm picking a very strength-oriented exercise. This is to make sure. It's my insurance policy. So again, we've got a game plan. Keep adjusting, keep moving forward. Push past where I just stuck at, because I just stuck, right? Got back to where my bench had been pre-injury, which I've literally put like 50 pounds back on my bench after I've rehabbed my shoulder, which again, people need to remember is not pressing related. It was ring pull-ups. Fixing all that, rebuilt it, but now we have to move forward. And I'm going to have to make some adjustments. So it's going back and looking at where all my weak links are, trying to just shore everything up. And you know what? I think if my upper chest and entire chest, particularly the upper chest, my triceps and everything get bigger, you know, it'll probably make me look even bigger overall. Make me look bigger overall. And I will be bigger overall, really. Even though, again, those aren't the most important muscles in the world for determining your size. They really aren't. Let's bring them up. Get that bench up. It's the only way my bench is going to crack 400 pounds. Because I'm not talking about what can we do this coming 6 months. I'm talking about this year. It's like, where can I have this bench at a year from now, a year and a half from now? How about when I'm ready to do Masters 2? I turn 45 because I turn 44 next month. All right? We want a 400 bench, 405 bench. I've got to put some meat on in the right places. Got to do it, guys. Then we finished up with Pendlay rows. Oh, just floor rows, whatever. They're not super strict because I'm going stupid heavy at this point. Again, need to get these up. Working with 280. Need to try to at least keep that level of, somewhat cheating, minimal cheating. Need to get those up to 315. Why? My deadlift needs it. And more lat will be equal even more pop out of the bottom of that bench later. And we did our hang pulls. This is one reason I'm like, I can take the overhead pressing and stuff out for now. I don't need the extra stress on the shoulder. This stuff doesn't hurt my shoulder. None of these do, believe it or not. This works my entire shoulder, entire upper back. We need to bring that upper back up. My squat and deadlift need it. Bring up my whole shoulder girdle. Because again, we're getting all that incline work. That's going to hit the front delts pretty hard. The rows hit the rear delts pretty hard. Just making sure we're shoring all that up. Again, hitting a couple different angles with some real big movements. And adding an explosive component in. Again, hang pulls, snatch grip hang pulls, snatch grip high pulls, all that stuff. Phenomenal shoulder developers. Okay? Phenomenal shoulder developers. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. But I need to keep getting better at these too. Same thing. Probably need to get these up to 315. Right? And eventually, if I can ever get my shoulder health on point, I'll mess with some Olympic lifts. I would love to. I would love to work on cleans and snatches, but I don't feel that I have my shoulder health and everything built back up to where it needs to be to pull that off. I'm going to keep working on it. Keep strengthening those things. Continue to try to keep that inflammation lower from that old injury. Avoid the overuse. And again, try to see if I can get the shoulder health on point. And if I can get everything to where it is there, I'd love to incorporate those. But in the meantime, this will do what I need it to do. And you saw me do some of it on even my lower body days now too. It's going to be probably a staple lift for me for a little while. Again, it's very orc mode. The whole workout has been orc mode, hasn't it? What we have? Floor presses, dips, incline pause bench, JM floor presses, right? That's very orky. Rows from the floor, hang pulls, and some cheat curls. You know, I started messing with the plates and I realized, why am I pulling these reds off when I'm working with 155 now for cheat curls? I've been pulling them off and putting the calibrated plate on with a 10 on each side, and I'm like, I could just leave the 55 on. And these are fairly hard now at this point, though. I managed to get 7 on the last set, and I realized I didn't have another rep, so I got 6, 6, and 7. Whereas in last time with this weight, I got 6, 6, 6. So we added 1 rep. Try to make that progress where we can, but man, it's going to take me a little bit. I probably want to get this to where I can get like 7, 7, 7, or 7, 7, and 8, whatever. I need to be able to at least get 7 reps for all 3 sets before I try to bump the weight again. But we'll get it there. Keep it moving forward. But overall, only thing I'm unhappy with today was the JM press. And some people, again, would come in if they want to chime in on the floor press. I'm going to be weaker at floor press. I have big lats and I use leg drive. Of course I'm going to be weaker. My goal was to hit 315 today on it, by the way. Maybe I could have ground out more. But when I started loading it up, I'm like, okay, I just want to get to 315. If I get to 315 today as a baseline, we can program off of it, and I'm going to roll with that. And I hit what I wanted to hit. Same thing with the incline bench. I actually hit the goals that I set out to hit of what I said I'm going to hit today. So it is what it is. So I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.